Welcome back to the channel. I am creating a movement to change the economy so that men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can reach your goals, how you can get into your dream relationship, how you can manage your team better, how you can create profits that exceed expectations, how you can continue to increase your market share in your industry, and how you can create a legacy that will last for multiple generations. We're talking about ways that you can provide a better quality of life to your children, and they can provide a better quality of life to their children. Today, we're going to be talking about the key ingredient. It's resilience. Each time we try to do the things that we need to do to be successful, there's going to be people that are going to stand up to try to stop you. They may say mean things, they may try to discourage you, they may do things that disappoint you, they may deny you, they may make it very hard for you to overcome the challenges that you are facing. If that happens to you, or I should say, when that happens to you, I want to encourage you that you're not alone. There's been many times in my life when I set out a goal for myself, whether it was a goal to grow my military career or a goal to succeed as a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms in the world, or a personal goal to either get in shape or get stronger. There has always been someone that has come into my life to try to discourage me, disappoint me, confuse me. There's always been someone out there, and sometimes I point to jealousy. Sometimes I think they're jealous of the person that I'm going to become. Sometimes I think it's out of ignorance or insecurity. You may face the same thing where the people who are trying to oppose you or the people who discourage you or deny you, those people are insecure or they may be just jealous. It doesn't really matter what their motivation is because the effect is the same. They're trying to stop you from reaching your goals. Just recently, a set of podcasters is going viral because they have asked their audience not to donate, not to give money to Representative Jasmine Crockett's campaign because she is too well defined and because she has made it too much about herself. And I think this instance is an important lesson for us to learn because I believe what we learn from it will help us to become more resilient so we can reach our personal and professional goals. What is interesting about this, and if you're familiar with politics, you'll know that you cannot be expected to raise money or win elections or manage or create a campaign unless you have some notoriety, you have some celebrity, unless people know you. So you have to be able to demonstrate that you are popular to people who are likely to vote. So to tell people not to vote for Representative Jasmine Crockett because she is too well defined or because she has made things about herself is essentially telling her that we should not support someone who has notoriety, or we should not support someone who has made a name for themselves simply because they have made a name for themselves. Now, if we just look at that by itself, we may be confused at why that is very problematic. But we have to take a little step back and think about history, where you just imagine yourself as a young representative, Jasmine Crockett, and you don't really have a name. You haven't really said anything that draws the media's attention. And just imagine yourself as a young professional who's getting ready to run for Congress, and you have to raise money to organize your campaign. And people will tell you, like, hey, you don't have enough notoriety for the big donors, or you don't have enough representation, or you don't have enough reputation to support fundraising for a Senate campaign. Just imagine. And the people who would discourage her, or people who would discourage you from reaching toward those stretch goals in your career, or following your passions, or the things that you have in your mind that you can do, those people who would try to discourage you would tell you, you don't have enough. You don't have enough notoriety, or you don't have enough experience, or you don't have enough training, right? And let's just assume that you take it to heart and you say, you know what, let me hold off and going after those goals. Let me, if you're Representative Jasmine Crockett, you say, let me hold off and running for Senate. I should go into the House of Representatives first. And you do hold off. And while you hold off, you develop the skills that you need to be successful, and you build your notoriety, and you finally create a name for yourself. And now you finally complete all the prerequisites that people said you needed to complete in order to qualify for fundraising and for organization of a statewide Senate campaign. And then once you do all of that, then there are people that jump on their podcasts, or they jump on the news, and they say, we shouldn't donate, or we shouldn't support your campaign because now you're too well defined, or your following is too big, or you're too popular. You have to see that there's a little bit of that people say is gaslighting, but you have to see that it's a little bit of hypocrisy. And it's very unfair because with respect to Representative Jasmine Crockett's situation, it sets her up for failure. Because when she's young and she doesn't have experience, they'll say, well, you don't have enough experience. But now that she's a little bit older and she has more experience, she has more notoriety, they'll say, well, you have too much experience. Now, here I'm talking about just an election, right? But there's maybe people at your job, or people in your professional life, and you've experienced the same exact thing in your own way. When we're young and we're graduating from school and graduating from college, or a trade school, you may have it in your mind that you're going to be a manager, or you're going to be an executive, right? And you may have the intelligence for it, you may have the creativity for it, you may have the passion for it, you may have the drive for it, you may have all of the things that you need for a higher role and for higher pay, right? And people, there could be career counselors, they could be people, mentors, or people at your job or your manager will say, you don't have the experience for this new position, or you don't have the educational background for this higher role. You need to go back to school and get a master's degree, or you need to go back to school and get a doctor's degree to qualify for this position. Some people will say, you need to get more job experience, and you need to get more experience in other parts of the company before we allow you to move up into management or to an executive position. And let's just say, for example, you're a young professional and you say, I'm going to do that. I'll take that to heart. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to develop myself. I'm going to take professional development. I'll go back to school. I'll get my master's degree, or I'll get a doctorate degree. You may even say, I'm going to get more experience. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to work 12, 13, however many hours in a day in order to gain the professional experience that I need to qualify for that next role this year or next year or whatever it is, right? And then let's just say you go through all of that. And a couple of years later, you come back to apply for that role that you want, your dream job. You want to be vice president at the big firm, right? And as you're applying, the people who are responsible for doing the hiring and the recruitment and the sourcing and all that great stuff, they come to you and they tell you, well, now that you have all that experience and you're a little bit older, they'll say, this position, we're actually looking for someone with a little bit less experience. You actually have too much experience. You have too much education. We're looking for someone with a little bit less education, and you're a little bit too overqualified. How do you think that professional, that now seasoned or mid-career professional, how do you think that professional is going to feel when they think back on the times when they were young and they were told so many times, You don't have enough experience. You need more education. And then once they get the experience and they get the education, they apply for the job in industry that they're working in at their dream company, and they're told that now they have too much. I believe that there are people out there that their whole purpose is to stop you from achieving your goals. Their whole purpose is to say you don't have enough when they know you do, just so that if you're a high performer or you're an overachiever, just so that you will spin your wheels to get more experience and more education and more whatever it is that they say that you're lacking. They'll they won't help you get it, right? But they want you to go out there and spin your wheels to get it. Work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, only to be the same exact people. They're the same type of people who will look at you and tell you that now that you have all of that experience, you have all that education, and you have all the credentials, and you have all the things that they said that you lacked, there will be people out there who will stand up and say, now you have too much. We're looking for someone younger. We're looking for someone with less. These two people, the person who says that you don't have enough and the person that says that now you have too much, they may not talk to each other. They may not have met each other. They may not have had coffee with each other, or they may not know each other at all. But the effect that they have on your ability to reach your personal and professional goals, the effect that they have on you is the same. They both are working to stop you from reaching your goals. I know this personally. In my experience, I've had people, I remember when I was 14, 15 years old, I stood up and I said, I'm going to change the world. I want to be a leader in our country. I knew I had that it factor. I knew I had something inside me that wanted to improve the lives of everyone that was in my community and everyone that I met. I had one of those hearts that would feel for other people, but I also had that type of work ethic that would cause me to want to fix problems when I see them. And it didn't matter if I had to sacrifice, or it didn't matter if I had to work a little bit harder. I genuinely got joy out of fixing problems that were causing other people to struggle. And I got joy out of making sure that I did my part to make the world a better place. When I was 14, 15, I stood up and said, I want to change what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a leader. I want to change the world. I was told by teachers, I was told by counselors, I was told by people that I'm supposed to look up to that I was too young, that I should sit down, shut up, listen, learn. And at the time, I didn't understand because I figured, I read that in the Bible it says a little child shall lead them, and I hear so many stories of how someone who is a child can contribute to society, and can set the example. And I was told that, hey, you haven't even paid rent. You haven't even driven a car. You don't know anything about life. You're not even self sufficient. But deep inside, I had that. Deep inside, I knew I had that fire. I had that spark, and it didn't go out. Eventually, I kept feeding it, and eventually, it grew larger and larger and larger. And so I went to school, did a community college. Then I left community college and I joined the military as an aircraft mechanic. And along the way, I told myself, you know what? Now I know how to rent. Now I know how to drive a car. Now I bought my first car. And I started checking off things in my life, one after another. And each time I either moved roles or switched positions, I continually got better at whatever it is that I was doing. So, as an aircraft mechanic, working in the Air Force, I got better as an aircraft mechanic. I volunteered for the Honor Guard, all with the dream in mind of one day standing up and doing something that will impact society. There are people along the way that said, I don't know, I'm not sure what you're doing, but you'd be crazy to leave this job as an aircraft mechanic. Why would you want to go back to school? You're respected here. And I was respected there, but I knew I had something in me that that was growing, that needed to be fed with more accomplishments, more achievements, more education, more experience, because I had been told so many times as a child that I didn't have the experience and I didn't have the education in order to lead. Fast forward, uh, graduating from the Air Force Academy and serving as an officer, I was told that, now that you know how to lead in the military, now that you know how to lead as an officer, that's good, but you don't know anything about business. How are you going to be a leader in our country if the only thing that you know is the military? That might make you a good general, but the majority of the people in our society don't serve in the military. There's only probably 1% of the population. So the the things that you know and the leadership skills that you've developed in the military may not even apply to like 80/90% of the population. And so I I was like, all right, fine, let me learn business. And there was a lot of doubt there because I'd been told that the military skills don't really translate over into corporate America. And I was concerned that I was going to enter into or start my corporate career. And I was worried that I would not be able to get the experience um, that I needed in order to build that confidence that I would need in order to lead. So I did my best. I went into the University of Maryland. I earned my master's in business administration. And I was looking at finance and I was looking at consulting. Those were the two careers that I believed would be most impactful as far as helping me learn the business world so that I would have the confidence in order to lead. And I ended up choosing consulting, joined one of the big four accounting firms, and I learned how to be a technology consultant. And I had an opportunity to get into the C-suite, and I was in the conference rooms, and I was managing projects. I was serving as an engagement lead. I was doing project management work, functional lead work, sometimes technical lead work. But I really got so much experience, not just in nonprofits and higher ed, but in a lot of different industries: healthcare, life sciences, financial services industry. I can go on and on. And now that I have all that experience, now that I have all that education, I look in the mirror every day and I think to myself, I'm like, what were those people doing, um, telling me that I needed to get experience and education? And all the people who when I was a child that told me I needed to get experience and education, all the people who told me that I couldn't lead because I didn't have the right experience and I didn't have the right education, none of those people actually helped me get experience. I've noticed none of those people actually helped me get experience, get education or experience. And I can feel like my nerves, like my excitement rising right now. My hands like sweating right now because I'm reliving that moment. And I'm realizing that those people in my life who told me that I couldn't do something because I didn't have the right experience or I didn't have the right education, I'm realizing that they didn't have my best interest at heart at all because they wouldn't help me get the things that they said I was lacking. And now, I never thought I'd be all over social media, but now as I grow this channel, we're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. I think to myself when I start out my videos and I say, I'm Kenneth Bowman, or welcome to the channel. I'm creating a movement to change the economy so that men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony. When I say that, when I deliver those messages, I think to myself that there's probably someone out there thinking, dang, this guy, he served in the military, he served as a consultant, um, he's a motivational speaker. What is he doing? Why isn't he too old? Doesn't he have too much experience? Um, what is a military guy doing trying to change the economy? And I think about that. I'm like, or what is a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms doing trying to change the entire economy of the United States of America? And I'm sure that there are people out there who doubt my intentions or doubt my abilities, or and I can see them. My I'm still small enough to be able to see all the likes and dislikes on my videos, and sometimes I'm like, why? Like, why do people, and people are going to like things what they like, right? And some people are going to support when they're ready to support, and some people are not going to support me until they're convinced 100% that I can change their life. But I look at people who dislike my videos, and I'm just like, or leave like weird comments, and I'm just like, why? After all of the work, all of the struggle, all the stuff that I've been through, like how dare you? Like, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, how dare you? But I'm sure they don't know what I've been through. They don't know, like, this has been a long journey, and I'm sure that they're just reacting to the content, right? But um, I find space in my heart to like proactively forgive, right? But sometimes it can be discouraging. Sometimes it can be discouraging, and it takes resilience. It takes me to practicing resilience to move on and keep getting better. I shared that story with you because I want you to know that if you are experiencing what Representative Jasmine Crockett has experienced, where people have told her that she doesn't have enough popularity, and then when she does get popularity, they say that she's too well defined. If you have experienced something that I've experienced, where they said, you don't have enough experience in education to do X, Y, and Z, and then once you get the education and you get the experience, they tell you, well, now you have too much. Just know that there is a way to use whatever it is that they're telling you to your advantage so that you can reach your goal. You do not have to get distracted. You do not have to get down on yourself when people try to discourage you. I'm going to share with you what I have learned that works for me and that I've used in as a consultant in order to create profits for my clients that exceed expectations. And I'll share with you what is learned as I launched my motivational speaking career and as I launched this channel. There, there's a way to take the negative comments and turn them into advantages for you. Here's the process. Here's the process. What you want to do is take whatever it is that they're saying. Let's say they're telling you that you're too young or you don't have enough experience. And then I want you to flip it around and use it to market yourself or use it to motivate yourself by saying, I may not have much experience as the next guy, but I have fresh ideas. But I know what's new and what's hot. If they tell you that you have too much experience, you say, "Hey, you have too much experience. You have too much education." You let them know, that's an asset because you can use it to market yourself. You can use it to get new roles by changing the way that you think about the negative things that are said about you. If someone says you have too much experience, you can come back and say, "You know what? It's an asset because I can solve problems before they become disasters, or I can solve issues before they become problems. I'm able to be proactive and save you money by recognizing when something is about to go wrong and then mitigating it before it becomes an issue." Whatever it is that they tell you, if they tell you that you don't have enough education, let them know that you have read the latest articles, you've read the latest magazines, and you know exactly what is happening right now. They may want someone, right, who has an education and has X, Y, and Z training and all that great stuff. However, someone who is a fast learner and who knows what is happening right now is more of an asset than someone who has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many years of education and has stopped learning. So there's always, I share these examples to say that there's always ways that you can take whatever someone is saying bad about you and turn it into an asset. There are some people out there who I'm sure have negative comments to say about what I'm doing and the channel that I'm building. I look forward to those comments, to that engagement, even the likes and dislikes. I look forward to it because I know I'm going to be able to use that in the next episode, or I'm going to be able to use that in the content to make sure that I'm marketing myself more effectively to my target audience. If you have experienced what I've talked about in this episode and you've gotten down on yourself, I want to encourage you that it is not the end. It is not going to be the end of your process. It's not going to be the end of your journey. It's not going to be the end of your dreams. You are going to be able to do the things that you set your mind out to do. There's other people out there who have overcome very difficult times, and they have also faced the same type of opposition that you're facing, same type of discouragement, same type of denial, same type of disappointment. If you have successfully overcome what I've just described, share what you have learned in the comments so that you can help someone else. Your insights will be able to help someone reach their goals, their personal and professional goals, and someone may be able to live a life that is better than they can ever imagine just because they saw your insight. I'm going to sign off by saying if you're looking for change and you're looking for the economy to change and you want to reach your goals and you want to live a life that is better than you can ever imagine, support this channel. I am bringing together people who want to change the economy so that men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony. I look forward to talking to you again in the next video.